What's going on, guys? Trying to get back to this damn drive fence. There we go. Things on my mind right now in the afternoon, coming up on the evening. Oh, ain't that nice? It's 5:18 p.m. West Coast time, Friday. It's the 9th of August, 2024. We were in John C. Rosamond, California. Yeah, we're not doing any grieving stuff here, but just a bit of wondering about what's going on these days. Got a question. And I'll probably be addressing this to the town I live in. So if anybody's watching it, how do you feel about your town? I kid you not. I live in Rosamond, California. I live in an armpit. I call it the armpit of the Antelope Valley. It's in the Wedge, California. We have many communities out here, two large cities. Well, population anyway for over 100K. Lancaster and Palmdale both have cities. The rest of them are unincorporated territories residing in both Los Angeles, Kern County, and San Bernardino, on how the county maps are drawn. I've been going over some YouTubes concerning about a valley village of sorts of over 25K in population. A place in Illinois called Dalton. Over the past months, several months, they've been having, or actually longer than that, several years, but I've just been catching the tail ends of these things. That this one town actually had a fiscal responsibility and accountability and transparency going on. They had town councils, try to keep people honest with the elected and elected trying to be honest with them. Until they got a mayor in there that screwed things up left and right. About 4 or 5 years, I think, if I'm remembering the story correctly on this one. It's still on YouTube. There's a lot of news investigations going on with this town. The major medias are picking up on it, but it's the minor ones in the state that are picking up more and more what's happening with this town as it's going through its issues. And one of the issues is having a mayor who is fiscally irresponsible, according to what the people have been saying about her. The town and the former elected people who were running the town at one time. There was an audit happening, and the people had a conniption fit over the results of this thing. There had been reports being leaked over to the media concerning about how fiscally irresponsible the mayor was. I'm saying was because I can't find her right now. My feeling is this particular mayor took the credit card and ran with it. Proving over major overtime, police chief having a salary greater than what they could afford, shopping sprees, expensive dinners, trips, different places the mayor was doing. I think I talked about this one. So the latest posting I came across was just a few hours ago on YouTube. Nobody can find this mayor. Trustees don't even know where they are, and trustees are being like ghosts. If there are anybody, there's no ghosts. I mean, there's no live bodies to talk to in um, their little civic center. They call themselves a village, not exactly a county seat, not exactly a city seat. It's just a village of 25,000 people with a budget that's over 3 to 5 million in debt because of what the mayor was going through, like crazy, spending not just on herself, but reckless spending, concerning about overtime left and right that the police chief and maybe a couple of officers in there were racking up left and right. bankrupting the town over the past several years since they've been in. Kind of made me question about our little community out here in Rosamond. When you don't have accountability from the elected officials, the police chief got, I think, resigned or fired, and so had the officers who had made an extraordinary amount of overtime on it. I guess it was easy enough for them to do that by marking off overtime sheets, having approved by the police chief. Two officers and a police chief for a town of 25,000. Where's the rest of the department? How come they weren't doing it? Right now, I can't keep my thought on because I'm more worried about my mama. My little dog is just whining her ass off right now. Give me 1 second. When being a caregiver, doesn't matter to who or what, they take a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of effort. Especially taking away the thoughts I was having concerning about that particular place in comparison to our little hamlet here. We are a community with somewhat of a council, and every month that they have meetings, nobody's actually taking enough notes. Actually, they'll take the official notes, but I want to hear what the conversations are like. I mean, it would have been nice if they actually had dancing streaming, you know. So people who aren't able to go over to see these meetings can actually see the meetings online. They are trying to keep it public, then let's make it public. What someone's got to do is just take a camera phone, put it on stand, or just hold it for a while and record the meeting. Even if it's doing it on a videotape and posting it out there. Or just live stream it on YouTube or Facebook or both. Something that we have archives on that we can watch and understand what's going on inside our town. Because I don't know if we've got a town treasury. It's going to be pilfered. The problem is that when you have a town, you have it incorporated. And therefore you're supposed to have funding coming in from different sources. But our sources are going directly to the county of Kern County. We already lost our supervisor, Scrivener. Jack Scrivener, I think. No, I'm sorry. Scrivener was the name. Jack Scrivener. And we have no contact of what's going on with the county board. There's nobody's selected a temporary for that or reassigned one. So we don't know if our town is going to be having expansions, our own police, which means we need to incorporate, which means everybody would be paying taxes into the system in order to keep the town alive. Now, since I've been in this place for since about 2013, there had been talk, and it's always been squashed. They're trying to keep the old ways. They're trying to keep an old community town living, but I've seen smaller communities had their own township, at least had a sheriff. We're about the same size population as Dalton, except we're managed by a county who is run miles away that we hardly ever get to when we can. And we're supposed to have official representation for our area. Not to mention, we also have Mojave. They got about 15K, I think, or maybe less. There's also Ridgecrest as well, a place called Boron. Maybe those places have individual communities or similar to townships or a village. California City, which is on the northeastern edge of the desert, on the border of it, has their own town. So does Ridgecrest. California City runs their own place. as a township. Maybe we should be taking some notes on how they're running their places. We have these small communities out there that are not really linked in with our county as much. But we are using county sheriff, we are using California Highway Patrol, and we are using Kern County Fire Department for services. Then we've got our own water board. It seems to be charging rates left and right, not to mention the garbage rates. We go through private company for that. That's private contracting going through the county of Kern. But what happens in these meetings is we don't know. For those who don't go to the meetings or are unable to get to the meetings, I don't even know where they got them anymore. We used to have a community center, still a senior center, but taken over by Kern itself. It was supposed to be one organization, but then handed off to another organization within the last 10 years. Didn't know about that one until it happened. And then it's kind of hard for me to keep track who's taking over this particular place because they used to make it into a community center where people can actually honestly talk to other people about what's going on, especially when the monthly meetings happen. But we don't have records. I mean, yeah, they'll post the official crap on it, but they're not what happens in the damn meeting. I mean, tell me an agenda doesn't tell me shit. Tell me who's at the place, at what time, okay, fine. But doesn't tell me what's been discussed. That's what we need. We need to open communication lines. At least that's my own opinion of the thing. But if they don't want to go through that, they don't want to do that, then I guess we're screwed one way or another. I just don't want our town to be that messed up as I've seen other communities. And the one particular community that they put on nearly national is one mayor running out of her town after charging the town dry, taking the funds and taking a credit card, and a lot of mismanagement happening that the town is in a debt that they cannot pay. And eventually it's going to have to be incorporated into something else in order for that debt to be paid off. Because I don't know where the hell they're going to get that much money out of the citizens in order to get that going. They have to curtail services left and right. They would have to depend upon other communities for support. And how much are they going to be charging for the damn rents and rates? We are separated out here in the desert regions. We have, if you guys would actually do a Google map search. I do this all the time, especially when I make a point of geography and what we're dealing with here. So to the viewer who is watching this thing, if you would go over to a search engine, if you know how to do this damn thing on your phone or on a laptop or a desktop or a mainframe or whatever the hell you're getting the information from. You can go to whatever kind of search engine you got to look for maps at this point. I'm going to Google Maps. Yeah, I used to be into Yahoo a lot of times, but now I'm more of a Google man myself. So my Google map would put me automatically into the town of Rosamond, and I would see where my town is and how large it is, or for some people it's small. So I widen the shot until I see this arrow shape, and then I see all these little names almost fading away, but I have to keep them in mind. Now, I'm familiar with the territory of what's San Bernardino and Los Angeles County and Kern County. Somewhere in the layers of this, it should, if they're available to do so, would give us an idea of where the hell we are. And if Google Map is going to be so kind about it, it's going to give us information about it. about where we are. So I'm looking at the arrow, as I call it. On the top portion of it, I can see smaller communities and larger communities. What I'm looking for as reference is California City. And below that is going to be Mojave. On the right of it's North Edwards and Boron. And there's the 395 interstate. No, not quite an interstate. It is a freeway. And this is the upper portion of Kern. Down below where it says North Edwards is Edwards Air Force Base. On the left of it immediately is Rosamond. That's home. If you'd look at that arrow again on the left hand side where it just intersects with each other in the angle, that's your border right there. There's a I don't know what you call it, but I would call it Avenue D. They also have a highway designation for that one as well. Roadway designation for it. But this goes directly across from the 14 freeway on the right hand side, which is the east, heads all the way to the left, past a little community called Neenak. And it's the 138, I think. And that would, and also crosses us into, let's see, 3 Points, Sandberg, and finally gets into the 5 interstate. Along that stretch is the border barrier of Los Angeles County to the south and Kern County to the north. But past, on the right-hand side, I think, a community called Redden, or just continues to go to the right to actually see the 395. Somewhere in that territory is the border of San Bernardino. They call that Apple Valley. They call ours on the left-hand side Antelope Valley, but on the right they would call it Apple Valley. And it is a valley. I believe El Mirage and Lake Los Angeles on the south and Los Angeles County would be the border communities for that. Don't ask me, I didn't make up these damn things. But you see the communities we've got here. We have communities, but we don't have cities. The only city that we do have is California City. They got a population of about 15 to 20, I think. Okay. They've got their own little town there. They've got their own little things they do. Looks like they've got almost about a larger community than Rosamond does. But at least they have a town. They are incorporated. They got their own police and they got their own fire department. But I think they're still borrowing it from Kern County at that point. The sheriff's department is their own. I've seen information about that. Pictures as well. They also have their own airport. Aren't they lucky? We've got community airports. Mojave is basically aerospace community out there, but also low rents out there, motels. It's a waypoint for travelers. In case they're going to be traveling to and from places, it's basically a truck stop. I mean, there are gas stations in the area. There are eateries in there. But we also have motels up and down the area. We also have a couple of markets out there. It's train passage. Cargoes go through it all the time. But as said before, it's also aerospace country. It also has a courthouse and a CHP area that covers the desert. Sometimes we use it out here in Rosamond. But the courthouse, yeah, we use that. It's the nearest current courthouse we've got. Smaller outlying communities, Reefer City, I did make up the name. Vieta, Sanborn, I did make up this name. That's what they're. That's what somebody else made it. Actus, Ansel, yeah, and then you've got Rosamond or Willow Springs, but it's still part of Rosamond anyway. Oh, take that. Willow Springs isn't. It's just a small community that has just Willow Springs International Freeway, Raceway, dirt tracks out there for people to do racing around. But our community is spread like crazy. We don't have a centralized, well, I have a centralized law enforcement and fire department and ambulance company, and that's about it. That serves about 20 to 25K in this community, according to the last census, which was done in 2020. We're growing in our community. We're growing in our real estate. Not much when it comes down for retail. Smaller mom and pop shops. Few of them already shut down. Still, I don't know if they're coming back or not. And there's always been talk we're going to be getting Walmart out here. I'm just looking at the map and not to mention looking at my dog at the same time. Well, trying to make sure what she's doing right now. She's just fussing right now. Not quite sure what she wants, and she doesn't know what she wants. That's a dog for you. But right now, we have community meetings. But I don't know if the town's going to be wanting that incorporation because incorporation means a hell of a lot more stuff that they got to deal with that they are still dealing with right now. We keep pleading for Kern County to help fix it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. If they had, we would already had more law enforcement out here and more fire. This year, because of climate, I'm not going to, well, I could blame it on the climate, but I also blame it on every summer we get. There's always the chance of having firebugs. Well, this year, we've had firebugs all over the Antelope Valley, including about 2 or 3 fires we've actually had here in our community. We only got 4 engines. But because of the major fires happening in portions of Kern County and other places, we're lucky enough we'll still get maybe about 1 or 2 engines left. We also do, and I've talked about this many times in my videos on this one, probably located in the wind files, unless I've already got them labeled somehow, about we keep borrowing the fire department from Edwards Air Force Base because of mutual aid package, mutual aid pact that we have with them. Some of the staffers and airmen who work over at Edwards Air Force Base live here in Rosamond. This is an aerospace community here. We are a military community out here. So yes, housing that we have out here, no, we raised our families. We got schools out here. I'm surprised we haven't decided, and it'll take a referendum, and it'll take a notification to the supervisors to let us know that we're ready for this kind of situation. But the thing is, the people have to be willing enough to do this, and they're not. They still want things the way they are, but they're not too happy about some of the stuff. They're doing the griping and grumblings left and right. Maybe it's a way of protecting themselves, or maybe it's not. I don't know. But until they incorporate and have their own issues, because they're already dealing with issues from everybody else, and everybody else, what I mean is we've had people coming from different places other than Rosamond coming in setting up shop. More new people we haven't seen. We don't know who the hell they are. So all the locals are like, who the hell are you again? If you haven't posted on social media, they don't know you. If you haven't said anything on videos, they don't know you. You have been walked across and said, "Howdy who, neighbor? How you doing, neighbor?" And what happens? We get new people over here to have conniption fits over the damn thing. So they got a problem with that situation. But if we incorporate, we're going to have to deal with the problems ourselves. We're going to have our own law enforcement, or borrow the sheriff's again. We're going to have our own fire department, or borrow again from Kern County regarding that. We'd have to have our own law enforcement, but if we're going to be doing that, we still depend upon the county seat for that one, which means we depend upon Mojave for that. I guess in a way, we're lucky enough than Dalton, Illinois. Why I had to pick on these guys? I saw stories coming on YouTube about it, and somehow it piqued my curiosity in the middle of the night. So I had to start doing research on this damn thing. And when I actually saw politicians who actually got into power there, when I actually got some grifters going like crazy, they just grifted the town to shreds on that. I'm worried about our own damn town. We've already got our own issues as it is. It's taken them years to get repaving of the roads, sidewalks, lights installed in certain areas. We're still having our accidents left and right. People don't know how to slow down or pay attention to what's going on around them. So we still have traffic accidents happening here. People getting injured left and right. They just don't know how to drive. Put it simply. We've also had accidents that hindered us transportation-wise. If there was something going on other than freeway construction. We already jammed up a major thoroughfare to get in and out of town. We got maybe three major thoroughfares I know about. There's Avenue 60 West. That stretches from Rosamond Boulevard all the way down to, I think, Avenue D. If I'm not mistaken on that one. Let me see. And there's the Rosamond Boulevard. Where is the... It's 90th. 60th was one of those longer stretches. Alright, where you at? There's 70. There's 65. And there's 60. Okay. Okay. SCE Rosamond Substation. Okay. So that goes all the way down. But so does a few other roads. I continue to go all the way down. What I'm looking for is, yeah, let's see, 75. 70, 75, do we have that one? 70th. Okay, so hold on. 80th. Okay, so we do get roads heading all the way down to Avenue B. Okay, that's good. Avenue C. Even better. Yeah, so now my dog's running around like a crazy girl. Then Avenue D, which is the 138. Okay. But, I'm usually throwing out the term but. 60th is another alternative to get out of Rosamond, especially if you can't get to the Sierra Highway or you can't get to the 14 freeway to get out. 60th would be the next stop because that would continue on throughout the desert and goes into LA County. And that would go really through Lancaster, city of Lancaster in LA County. Beyond that, we still have a few other desert roads that would come across through there, but those would be the major thoroughfares we would have. Trying to get the hell out of Dodge, so to speak. But these are the things, and these are the thoughts I have issues with in my town. I'm hoping we get things discussed in the meetings about these things. If we happen to have any major situations happening, or major emergencies happening up, or if we have the town really wanting to be incorporated, I'm hoping that we really would discuss it in full detail on this one. And then, if a decision had been made to put it out to the public, to the township, we would have a special vote for that one. And everybody would need to vote. Is everybody registered anyway? Because we would need to know that. We would need to know that because either we incorporate it or we don't. And if we don't, are we ever going to? Or will we just table it for then on in? And once we do incorporate it, it'll take a long time for our town to get situated regarding that. One step at a time. If it happens.